Hello, I am Matt, and this is my fourth stock speedrun for the weekend of December 18th, 2021. If you are unfamiliar with what a stock speedrun is, you can check this video's description as usual for an explanation and also a disclaimer as to its content as usual. Let's go ahead and get started. Immunovant. Only a clinical stage company can have a very, very silly name like this. Also, I want to know the history of this chart. What the hell is going on here? Okay, yeah. Hemorrhaging money. Clinical stage. Called it, boy. Monoclonal antibody for treatment of autoimmune diseases. It develops this thing for monoclonal... You know what? I've heard this term, especially with COVID, I've heard this term a lot, and I don't actually know what it means. I want to look that up during Phase 2. That's selectively... And you know, I keep saying there are things I want to look up in Phase 2, and I keep forgetting I said that. I need to... Okay, make a mental note. I need to carve it into my brain. Okay. Carved. Alright, we're good. That selectively binds to and inhibits the neonatal fragment crystalline something or other. Okay. Okay, yeah, so for clinical stage, I'm not even going to bother looking at these earnings. Earnings don't mean jack for a company in this stage. What I want to know, however, is what happened to this back in last year. And I may need to wait until Phase 2 to do that because the articles in Yahoo don't go back a year. And it's just... It looks like it peaked just over a year ago, back in November. Actually, maybe I can look back that far. Let's see, how back do these articles go? Whoa, apparently whatever happened, it pissed off a lot of people because they're getting sued left and right. So let's see, what happened to make people mad? And possibly also explain that ridiculous stock bump. Violations of the Securities Exchange Act. What did they do between October 2nd, 2019 and February 1st, 2021? Is that when that big hump happened? Roughly. Actually, hold on a second. Ooh, they did not IPO until about mid-2019, but then... Wait, what was that timeline? October 2nd, 2019, so... About there. Something happened in December, and then it had a run up in 2020 for some reason, and then dropped off a cliff. Probably because some kind of good news they had published didn't pan out. Did they lie? Maybe? I mean, that's what this claims. Made false and misleading statements to the market. Failed to perform proper Health Sciences Acquisitions Corporation failed to perform proper due diligence prior to the merger. Ooh, so this was a result of a SPAC, it sounds like. You know what? That would explain this price movement, because right here is probably when the merger was announced. That always causes a little spike. And then probably right around here-ish is when the merger actually happened and the terms of the deal... Well, maybe not actually happened. That might be one of these dropped right here. But this may have been when the terms of the deals were finally revealed. And as typical, people didn't like it. That's always what happens. Again, SPAC life cycle. This phase, where it's just an acquisition company and you don't know what's getting merged in yet, this is Phase 1, okay? From announcement... And Phase 1, in my opinion, is always a buy. It's just a buy by default, because you know it's going to go up. It just always happens whenever the news of the announcement takes place. And so, and then from announcement to actual merger is Phase 2. Phase 2 is a little more bumpy. I would say maybe hold or sell during Phase 2, because once Phase 2 is over... and the merger happens, or more of the deal terms are announced, that always leads to a drop. Always leads to a drop. Okay, maybe not always. I would say maybe 95% of the time. maybe the other 5% you're going to get a better deal than most, and it may go up a little bit more. But, again, that's not worth taking that 5% chance, I don't think. And then now it's in phase 3, which is just, post-merge, and it's a new company, and, now you don't buy it because it's a SPAC, but you buy it because you like that company in particular. In this case, you would like Immunovant. Okay, so it seems like, so I was looking for a reason as to why this dropped, perhaps due to some trial that failed, or some bad news they got out of one of their products not working. But no, this volatility here, I think, is all tied to their SPAC dealings and they're going public. So there probably isn't a history of them failing trials, at least not yet. What phase is this in, by the way? Selectivity binds, which is in phase 2A. I'm not too sure what A means, but I know phase 2 is pretty far along. So it's possible this company may see profits if they can get past the rest of phase 2 and into phase 3. Maybe profits sooner than later. Definitely sooner than a company that would still be in phase 1, for example. So I am guessing, this is probably something I can look up back. I am guessing that that is what that price action is all about. So I need some information about what the company is like now that they are post-IPO, post-merger. So what did Insider Monkey think of this 8 months ago? Who did Warren Buffett, David Tepper, Stan, this guy? On the other hand, technology hedge funds weren't timid and registered double-digit market-beating gains. Pay attention to the increase in support from the world's most elite money managers in recent months. Immunovant was in 36 hedge fund portfolios. All-time high for this statistic is 31. So about 8 months ago was at the all-time high for hedge fund inclusion. This means bullish number of hedge fund positions. Yes. Okay. Very interesting. And actually, going off of that, let me just scroll back up through these articles real quick. Lawsuit. Oh, holy hell, that was 7 minutes already? Jeez, alright. What? How was that? Okay. That did not feel like 7 minutes. Lawsuit. Now we're than expected. I want to know, SPAC merger. SPAC on SPAC deal falls apart. What's this? Actually, one more thing I want to look at here is the holders. I want to see if there are any insiders holding this. Come on! Private drug maker aborted plans to buy back its own SPAC at a hefty premium, sending shares of... oh, okay. August's... unwinds part of its plan to go public by selling itself to a special purpose acquisition company, and then using the proceeds to reacquire full ownership of Immunovant, which it merged into another SPAC in 2019. Okay, so I think there were two things going on here. It was not just the SPAC of the SPAC debut of Immunovant, but apparently there was some kind of drama with this Roivant Sciences. Let me try to parse this. Withdrawal of Roivant Sciences unwinds part of its plan to go public by selling itself to a special purpose acquisition company and then using the proceeds to reacquire full ownership. Buy back its own SPAC. So, okay, if I'm parsing this properly, it sounds like Immunovant was spun off from Roivant, went public via its own SPAC, and now Roivant is now trying to go public via another SPAC so it can buy back and reacquire full ownership of Immunovant, which previously spun off of it and went public via its own SPAC. Oh, SPAC drama. This is actually a very exciting story. Like this is This is SPAC soap opera right here. This is some amazing stuff. Pursue a smaller equity investment likely removes the near-term possibility of a full acquisition. The original plan was the first known instance of a SPAC-on-SPAC deal, and it raised eyebrows earlier this year after it outlined in front. So it almost SPAC-on-SPAC. So did their SPAC try to acquire the other company's SPAC? What the hell is going on here? This is some wild shit. Oh man. Okay. Whew. That was a roller coaster. Holy crap. Okay, so, I mean, it doesn't really have much to do with how I think about Immunovant. Well, maybe it does. Because if they, because if that Roivant can complete its plans to go public and try to reacquire Immunovant, then if they do that and try to reacquire Immunovant at a price, and they may have to, if they really want it, because it sounds like Immunovant didn't want to be part of Roivant to begin with, so they may have to offer them a lot of money to get them back. Then they would have to make an offer to Immunovant at probably a significantly higher price than the current share price. And when that happens, if you have shares of these, that will go up. Not to mention the fact that Immunovant seems to be, I didn't see anything claiming that they're not charging forward pretty confidently with their current testing. And their products. Ooh, you know what? I meant to look up what what's it called? And well, all right. I'm not allowed to look at any of these until I make a decision. You know what? All of these things considered, the fact that they could possibly be reacquired in the future, most likely, I think it's likely that they'd be reacquired at a higher price than the current share price. The fact that even if they don't, they seem to have, I believe I counted two clinical candidates that are charging along fairly nicely. It seems like I didn't see anything to the opposite. I'm seeing nothing but good signs for this. I'm seeing nothing but good signs for this, especially since it is at, I think, near the lows. Could it go lower? Yeah, that's possible, but I think there's a lot of things that can pull it higher also. So you know what? I like this. I actually like this a lot. I like Immunovant. Mostly because of the drama they find themselves in. I think it could work to their benefit, honestly. And also the fact that, they seem to actually have some fairly good, clinical candidates in the pipeline. So, and you know what? Now that I've made a decision, I can go back and look at what I want. That's a lot of institutions holding. That's a lot of insider holding. I wish I had looked at this prior. I wish I had gotten the chance to look back at this prior to me giving it that buy rating, but it wouldn't have affected that buy rating. If anything, it would have made me felt more confident about it. Also, wait, these numbers don't make sense. 86% of float, but only 29% of shares. How small is the float? The float would have to be, like, for these ever to work out, the float would have to be, like, less than half of the number of outstanding shares, right? Where's the float? 41 million. Shares outstanding. Yeah, I was right! 115 million! Where the hell is the difference? Is that what's held by insiders? Something I'm not 100% sure about is what is considered the float. Is that when you take out the percent held by insiders? That would make sense to me. That would make these numbers work out. In fact, you know what? I'm going to bring up the calculator real fast again, because I want to take that 115 million outstanding. I want to divide that by 100, and then I want to multiply that by 65. No, wait. Yeah, that's the number of shares held by insiders. 65.4. That gives us 75.21. I'm going to commit that to memory because now I want to see if the number of shares outstanding minus these shares held by the insiders is what equals the float. That would make sense. That would make sense. So I have that saved to memory. Let's clear that. So 115 minus, where's memory recall? There it is. 39. I mean, doesn't line up perfectly, but you know, it lines up enough. It lines up enough for, I think, my assessment to be correct. In fact, you know what? I'm going to look that up right now. I've already made my decision, so you know what? I'm just going to start looking stuff up now. We're going to go on a little educational adventure right now. What constitutes a stock's float? What is a stock float? Total number of shares that are available for public investors to buy and sell. Which I'm guessing, if they're held by insiders, they are probably privately held shares and are not available for public investors. What exactly is a company's float? Investopedia is always a good resource when you need to know stuff like this. Regular shares a company has issued to the public that are available for investors to trade. So this may have been the shares that were offered in the IPO, or well, not the IPO because they did a SPAC merger, via the SPAC merger. But then there are also, is derived by taking the company's outstanding shares and subtracting any restricted stock, which is stock that is under some sort of sales restriction, which is probably the stock that is held by insiders, because I think that after they merge with the SPAC, there is a restriction. They can't sell stock for a certain amount of time. I think that applies to IPOs also, but the time frames might be different. I'm not entirely sure. Restricted stock can include stock held by insiders, but cannot be traded because they're in a lockup period following an initial public IPO. Yes, I want to learn more about what is typical lockup periods. How lockup agreements work. Lockup periods typically last 180 days, but on occasion can be as brief as 90 days. It sounds like they went. Would those insider shares still be locked up though? Because I think it's been 180 days since that IPO happened, or rather since that SPAC merger happened. Special considerations are meant to help protect investors. Example of a lockup agreement: studies have shown that the expiration of a lockup agreement is generally followed by a period of Does each company make its own lockup agreement? It says typically lasts 180 days. I guess the company comes up with their own lockup time frame. Can I look that up for a particular company? Excuse me. What's the name of this? Immunovant? Lockup. Wow, that is not how you spell that at all. Period. Shareholder has entered a lockup agreement. I don't see a time frame here. Lockup period means with respect to 50% of the lockup shares. Shorter of... for any 20 trading days... period commencing on the date of closing and ending on the date that is 6 months thereafter. In addition, if within 6 months after the closing there is a change of control, then upon the consummation of such change of control, all lockup shares shall be released from the foregoing restrictions. Okay. I don't see any solid amount of time here. Entered a lockup agreement to be received. Lockup period means with respect to 50% period commencing on the date of closing and ending on the date that is 6 months thereafter. That's 180 days, right? 6 months? I think so. I think it's been 6 months though. Or maybe maybe this has been reaffirmed at some point. When was this document published? Is there a date on this? September 19th, 2019. Okay, I mean, I think that's why the float is like that. They're locked up. I just can't explain why they're locked up, because 6 months from any important date seems like it should have passed, unless I'm missing another important stock issue date or some kind of event with the company, so that's that. What else did I want to look up? Oh yeah, I wanted to look up what the hell, what monoclonal antibodies are. An antibody produced by a single clone of cells or cell lining consisting of identical antibody molecules. Oh, so it sounds like they literally take antibodies from one person, clone them, and put them in another person. I mean, I guess that would make sense. They are clonal, and they are mono, as in they are, you know, they are one. They are all the same thing. Okay, I mean, okay, yeah, that name makes sense now. All right. Okay, so yeah, we got a little bit. We got to decide on Immunovant. We got a little education into what the float is, and we got a little education to what monoclonal antibodies are. This was a good session. I like this. If you liked it too, go ahead and leave a comment saying that. I mean, you can leave a comment too if you hated it. I don't give a shit. Give me a like if you want, and give me a follow if you want, and I'll see you in the next one if you want.